Hi guys, this is Az from Integrum Personal Development, and today we are on part 4 of the sugar journey. We are at the 2-week mark, so I've been going on a high sugar diet for 2 weeks to measure and keep track of the effects of it on my body. And as we've been doing this, some questions have been coming up within our community, within those of you who are following the journey or going along with it with us. In particular, the question of natural sugars, those you'd find present in, say, an apple, and refined sugars, so what we know as table sugar and what we see in processed foods as well. So we're going to go over the difference today and get a bit of clarity on where we stand with the two. Let's start with defining our terms. So there are a couple of different things when we want to speak about sugar. Sugar is actually an umbrella term for a few different compounds. So if we're talking, let's take the fruit, for example, of an apple. Apple contains a sugar known as fructose, or fruit sugars. Fructose is present in fruits. It's a natural occurring sugar. It's not metabolized in the same way as the others. The other main type of basic sugar is glucose. Now, you've probably heard more about glucose than you have of fructose. Glucose is our body's natural energy source. So our body enjoys and likes processing and using glucose for energy within the cells throughout our entire body. Let's take an example. If you eat a bowl of pasta, that contains carbohydrates. And those carbohydrates are metabolized and broken down into your body into glucose, or glycogen where it's stored to be used later. Glucose is a natural and easy accessible source of energy for all our functions in our body by all our cells. If you eat an apple, on the other hand, you are going to be getting fructose. So the sugars in this are broken down into fructose. Now, this is not metabolized in the same way as glucose. This is actually metabolized in the liver and is handled very differently. There's been more correlation with the issues in consuming fructose than there has actually from glucose. The issue is for example, your table sugar is 50-50. So sucrose, which is what you put in your tea, and it's often what you will find in things such as sweets and the rest of it, is a 50-50 split of glucose and fructose. So what are the downsides or the upsides of eating one or the other? What's the difference between me eating an apple or an apple flavored sweet? To be honest, in terms of sugar, not a lot. So if I get my sugar from my apple, I'm getting fructose. If I eat a sweet, let's say an equivalent amount in sweets, I'm getting 50% glucose, 50% fructose. My body can't really define or doesn't really care where it comes from. Whether it's a fruit or a sweet or anything else, my body doesn't differentiate. Sugar is sugar. The chemical reactions that go on will go on regardless. The difference comes in what else goes on in the fruit. So what apple has that the fruit will not is fiber. The skin of an apple that surrounds it and surrounds many other fruits, or is contained within the flesh or pulp of a fruit, is high in fiber. And fiber is a natural process or a natural thing that we use to control our appetite. It's an appetite suppressor. So I could give you a plate full of apples, and if you were at a big appetite, you could probably eat 3 or 4 whole apples as it is like this. However, I could squeeze or juice 10, 15 apples, and you could probably drink that down in one go. What's the difference? The fiber. So the fiber has been removed, and then you are able, it's easier to consume much larger quantities of the sugar. We've said in this journey that we don't believe sugar is good or bad, but obviously an excess of sugar is not going to do you any favors. The fiber in fruit prevents you from overdosing in sugar, whereas sweets and things that are refined do not allow it. This is the difference. Not to mention all the vitamins and other micronutrients that come along with eating fruit that simply do not with more processed foods. The whole thing about processing a food is that it removes a lot of things. White bread is removing the wheat germ. It's removing things from the flour, from the wheat, from its original place. The same with white pasta, white rice. It's not that they're bad. It's that they allow you to consume more of the thing that we don't need an awful lot of, because they remove the stuff that makes it more filling, that satiates us quicker, and all the rest of it. So is there a difference between natural sugars and refined sugars? Not in the actual sugar, but in the way in which we are able to consume and how much we can take in, and the effects of that excess of sugar. So I hope this has helped you guys, answered a few questions about it. In summary, don't be afraid to eat fruit.